Transgender swimmer Lia Thomas has criticized people who push transphobia while also claiming to be feminists. Appearing on the Dear Skylar podcast, hosted by fellow trans swimmer Skylar Ballar, Thomas spoke about her experiences as a trans woman competing in sport. She is known for being the first trans swimmer to win a backk Division I title, competing for the University of Pennsylvania's women's swim team during the 20,212,022 season. She told Ballar that she felt the support from her teammates was conflicting, with a number of them wanting to boycott events in protest of her competing. She said it was frustrating to hear them say they respected her as a trans woman but did not think it was fair or right for her to compete. Thomas' year on the women's team was subject to a lot of media attention. Even her teammates spoke out against her. Progressives who support Thomas competing in women's sports often fail to consider the physical, biological advantages that athletes such as Thomas have over their biologically female competitors. Thomas started hormone replacement therapy in 2019 and, as a result, is in compliance with CAR rules. But RIT, as recently pointed out in the New Yorker, may not counteract all the biological advantages a trans athlete possesses, such as lean body mass, pelvic width, grip strength, and wingspan. A few years ago, as a swimmer on the Pennsylvania men's team, Thomas was the men's swimmer in the country. Now, Thomas is the no swimmer nationally in the women's division. Thomas' participation has a direct, negative effect on the biological females who have trained their whole lives just to see themselves precluded from accomplishment. For example, Virginia Tech swimmer Rekha Georgi wrote a letter assailing the CAR after she came up one spot short in a championship qualifying race that Lia Thomas dominated. Georgi wrote, "Thomas' involvement doesn't promote our sport in a good way, and I think it is disrespectful against the biologically female swimmers who are competing in the CAR." Dozens of open swimmers also wrote a letter to their school and to the Ivy League, arguing Thomas should not be allowed to compete. A special video that aired on ESPN a few weeks ago was created to recognize women in sports as part of Women's History Month. But instead of picking a woman, ESPN decided to give credit to a man. Former University of Pennsylvania swimmer Lia Thomas was honored by the network in yet another example of women, real women, being relegated to a lower tier of the country's societal hierarchy. Rather than confine the celebration to real female athletes, the sports network decided to advance a fringe social agenda. It chose a man who suffers from gender dysphoria, a condition that makes men think they are women, and vice versa, instead of an actual woman. It's offensive, it's insulting, and it's degrading to women. And no matter how hard ESPN executives insist, Lia Thomas is not a woman. He will never be a woman. He has my sympathy for experiencing such a traumatizing condition that makes him believe he is female. It's unfortunate. However, it doesn't change reality. Lia Thomas can change his name, wear makeup, put on dresses, and identify however he wants to. None of it will change the fact that he was born with a penis, does not have ovaries, and has a Y chromosome like all other human males. ESPN wants to normalize a mental abnormality so that it will be accepted by people in 2033 or 2043. It doesn't particularly care about winning 2023 medals. Initially, the transgender rights movement was to protest against discrimination, which is something everyone should support. But this quest has morphed into a toxic crusade to disregard biology, declaring pronouns, creating multiple genders, making up words in the English language, or saying men or women are forms of nonsense that have nothing to do with equality or respect. It's an attempted mass brainwashing. So, to be clear, Lia Thomas is not a woman and will never be one, no matter how hard ESPN or other extremist activists try to convince people.